Welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. It's your girl Rashida, and today I have a new recipe that I want to share with you. It is lasagna soup. Yes, not your standard lasagna, but lasagna with a twist, and lasagna soup is what we're making. Let's get started. I'm using, of course, some lasagna pasta, some ground beef, some Italian sausage, pasta sauce, tomato paste, ricotta cheese, parmesan, mozzarella, some fresh herbs. Oh my goodness, it's going to be good. Let's start off. Let's get started. First, I want to go ahead and brown or ground my meat. And I'm using a half a pound of ground beef and a half a pound of Italian sausage. I chose just to use the sweet Italian sausage. You can use spicy, hot if you like, and that's just a half a pound of each. And I just want to brown and ground that until it's well done. And you could add a little bit more if you like a little extra meat in your lasagna soup. Adding to this just a little bit of salt, pepper, and complete seasoning. Just a little bit because you know I like the flavor from the ground up. So everything has a little bit of flavor in it. So definitely want to flavor my meat with some complete seasoning, a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to just brown this for a few minutes. And this is a 93%, I think a 90% ground beef, so it's not a whole lot of extra fat and oil. So I'm not going to drain it. It's not going to have too much fat left over. So a few minutes in the browning process, and that's just like grounding your ground beef when you make spaghetti. Takes about 5 minutes. Okay, so while my meat is browning, there it is. That's how you want the ground beef to look. Just basically all the way done, almost done. It'll definitely finish cooking in the soup. So if you have it about 80 to 90% done, that's fine. And then I'm just going to remove it from, I'm using this Dutch oven, remove it from the Dutch oven, and I'm going to continue to cook right in this large big pot right here. So right now I'm just removing the ground beef and Italian sausage and getting ready for the next step. That's the little bit of oil that was left over from the meat. I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil to that. And then I'm going to saute my onions. I'm using a whole yellow onion. And then I'll also add some garlic. Once I saute this for about 3 minutes, then I'm going to add in about 3 cloves of chopped garlic. And I'm going to saute those for about a total of 4 to 5 minutes on about a medium to low heat so it doesn't burn. And that's my garlic that I'm going to adding in. Sauteing that, and then I'll move to the next step. This is a new recipe. I tried this for the first time. I wanted to try something different, and I was like, lasagna soup sounds pretty good. So this is my first time making it, and I'm telling you guys, it turned out great. To that, I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I'm just going to give that a stir. So we have the onions, we have garlic, now the 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I'm adding in some herbs, some dry herbs, about a half a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of basil, and then a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning if you have it. And once again, those are some of those flavors that are going to cook into the soup and just come to life. And once I add those herbs, just going to give it a quick stir and move on to the next process. Oh, I did want to mention that I did add in some, just about a fourth of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, or if you have a fourth of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you just want a little bit of spice or a little kick, you can add those in. If you don't want any spice, don't worry about it. Now I'm taking my favorite, one of my favorite jars of marinara sauce, whatever pasta sauce you like. Add a whole jar of sauce into the pot. I'm using like a Parmesan Romano marinara sauce. And I just want to add that to the pot and stir everything together. And as you add the liquids into the pot, it brings up everything. So all the onions, everything that looks like it's sticking to the bottom of the Dutch oven, all of that's going to come up and just flavor the sauce. Now, because this is a soup and not just straight lasagna, we're going to add in some chicken stock, and I'm using 7 cups of chicken stock, and that's what basically makes it that soup consistency. However, it's not a really loose, liquidy. It's very thick. It's very rich. So it tastes just like lasagna, but just in a different form. So I'm adding in my chicken broth, and you want to use a good quality chicken broth. Try not to use, if you don't have to, whatever chicken broth you have, it'll work. And just stirring all that together. And I'm bringing this up to a boil on a medium to high heat. I want to bring all this together. So now we have our soup base pretty much together. We have all the flavors in the pot. Now we're going to go ahead and add back in the meat, and that's the ground beef Italian sausage, because that's just going to add in more flavor. So we're adding in our meat to the lasagna soup. In this pot right now, I have my onions, my garlic, the pasta sauce, marinara sauce, the chicken broth, fresh herbs, dry herbs, and now we added back in the meat. So this is the base of the soup. This is your lasagna flavor right here. Just like it will be your lasagna pot, your sauce, this is the flavor in the soup. Next, we're moving on to the ricotta cheese blend. Now onto the ricotta cheese blend, and that's 10 ounces of ricotta cheese. I like to use the whole milk ricotta, but you can also use the low fat or fat free. No, I don't know if they have fat free, but low fat ricotta if you like. A half a cup of grated parmesan, good quality. Always like a good quality of parmesan, it makes a difference. And a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. And I'm just going to mix these up in the bowl. Add in just a little bit of Italian herb seasoning and a little salt just to flavor that up. And just like when you're making lasagna and you have that middle layer of ricotta cheese, that's all this is, except we just drop it into the soup mixture. So this is our ricotta cheese, ricotta, parmesan, and mozzarella with a little Italian herbs and a little salt. And I'm just going to give that a good stir. Make sure everything is mixed well. And when the soup is complete, you just take little dollops or little spoonfuls of the ricotta cheese and just drop it in your bowl and mix it together. And that's just the herbs that I'm adding in. The ricotta mixture is done and set to the side for now. Now I'm back to making the rest of this, finishing up on the soup. It's at that boiling point that I said we were going to bring it to. Now we want to add in the pasta, and it's about 9 sleeves of the lasagna pasta, of your lasagna pasta, and just breaking those up probably into about 4 pieces per sleeve. So they're not too small, not too big, they're just in the middle. So we're just going to break each sleeve up into about 4 to 5 pieces and just drop that in. Just like you're adding pasta to boiling water and cooking it, we're going to add it to our soup mixture. Now this cooks, I kept my eye on it because you don't want it to be undercooked and yet you don't want to be overcooked. You want it just right. So I cooked this for about 15 to 20 minutes. Once all the pasta was in the bowl, in the pot, I reduced the heat to about a medium medium heat and just let it cook, continuing to stir it every few minutes, making sure it doesn't stick together. And we just want to basically at this point cook that pasta until it is just right, al dente, not overcooked, about 15 to 20 minutes. So our pasta is still cooking. And one thing I am adding to my lasagna, and I thought about it, for all those my vegetarians who don't eat meat, you don't even have to add the meat. I'm going to add some spinach into my lasagna soup. You can just add spinach or other vegetables that you would like to add in place of the meat, and you can have a vegetable lasagna soup. So I want to make sure to put that out there and it still be delicious. Now I'm adding in about 2 to 3 cups of fresh spinach. And of course, that's just going to wilt down, give it an extra little healthy kick. Just add my spinach in. If you don't want spinach, definitely you don't have to add it. But I thought it was a nice addition. I'm adding in the spinach, and I'm going to also add in some fresh basil. I love basil. I love the flavor of basil. I think Italian dishes and basil just go together. So I'm going to add in about a cup of fresh basil in addition to the dry basil that's in the soup. So all of these, giving a good stir. The soup is almost done. Continuing to look at that pasta. Sometimes I had to take a piece out and test it just to make sure that it was ready. And we're just going to cook this for a few more minutes. Everything is in the pot. The soup, the lasagna soup is ready to go. And it just kind of thickens as it cools. A few extra pieces of basil. Basil looks just like the spinach, but it's basil. And how this works is, this is the lasagna soup. You want to put this in a bowl and then take a spoonful of that ricotta mixture, put it in your bowl and just mix it together, and it makes it nice and creamy. I'm telling y'all, this gets 2 thumbs up. My first time making it, but it is now going to be in my regular rotation. It was so good, so yummy, so delicious. It's great for family meals or potluck, or if you're cooking for about, I would say a good 6, maybe 6 to 8, 4 to 6. This is a great meal. Thanks for cooking with me. Thanks for coming in the kitchen. Thanks for cooking with me. Until next time, have a blessed day, blessed week. Try this recipe and let me know. Leave some comments if you've ever made lasagna soup before. Till next time, be blessed.